Seeing over and over and over again is women who genuinely love Jesus, but they're also saying things like, finding well-written, clean books is so hard. I want a good plot, but it's always full of spice. And I just don't like all the explicit scenes in these books these days. And then what happens? We compromise. Do you want to read more and feel good about what you're reading, but struggle with time and finding clean books? If so, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Cassidy, a wife, mom, and a lifelong reader whose faith shapes what I read. I learned how to make time for books and choose ones that align with my values. If you're ready for clean books you don't have to second guess and simple reading tips that fit real life, cozy up and let's make reading fun again. Before we dive in, I want to personally invite you to my free Facebook group. If you're someone who wants to read clean books, but you feel like you're constantly swimming upstream in a world full of spice, I created this space for you. It's full of women who love clean and Christian books. No judgment, no shame, just support, recommendations, and a real conversation. You can join at fruitfulreader.com/group. So I want to be very clear. This episode is not me yelling at you. It's not me being dramatic. And it's definitely not me rehashing episode 1, where I kind of shared my more personal journey with you. This is different because what I keep seeing over and over again is women who genuinely love Jesus, but they're also saying things like, finding well-written, clean books is so hard. I want a good plot, but it's always full of spice. And I just don't like all the explicit scenes in these books these days. And then what happens? We compromise. And I get it. I was there too. We tell ourselves it's just fiction. We say we can just skip over the scenes. We say that just because we're reading it doesn't mean it's going to affect me. It's normal now. Everybody reads this stuff. But here's the thing. Spicy books are not harmless. And honestly, they're engineered to be addictive. They hit your brain in the same way that visual porn does, just through imagination instead of images. And I don't say this lightly, and I don't say this in a preachy way. This is real. When you read graphic, explicit scenes, your brain doesn't go, oh, this is fictional. Your brain reacts if it's real. There's dopamine spikes, fantasies build, and expectations shift, even if you're not trying to lit them. And suddenly, you're not just reading a story, you're consuming an experience. And for Christian women, that matters, because we're not called to read like the world reads. We are renewed, we are recreated, and we are called to be different. Romans 12:2 literally says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Not filling it with whatever the bestseller list throws at you. And I think sometimes we've separated reading from our spiritual life, and I have done it. I have walked down that road, but they are not two different things. What you put in your mind shapes you, and if you've ever felt that pull or that craving, and I just need another spicy romance right now feeling, it's not random. That's your brain being trained. Today, I want to break this down in a really practical way, why it matters, why it's addictive, and what we can actually do about it. Spicy books train your brain towards fantasy instead of contentment. And I'm not saying fantasy like elves and gnomes and that kind of stuff, okay? I am saying it trains your brain toward things that aren't real. Women are getting targeted with books. Same thing, different content type. Because explicit romance is built on intensity. Unrealistic chemistry, unrealistic bodies, unrealistic emotional highs. It creates this constant dopamine loop in your brain. I know for me, when I first started reading spicy books, it wasn't like that. It was, I would read a fantasy romance and it'd be like one scene, I would skip over it. And then suddenly I wasn't skipping over the scenes. And then suddenly I was reading books that were shameful and not honoring God. They were dark and they were heavy and it was not okay. When you consume that every day, real life can start to feel dull for people. Marriage feels less exciting. Singleness can feel unbearable. Regular stories feel boring. And you start saying things like, I need something more intense, or I'm having a hard time staying hooked on a book unless it's really spicy. And that's not a reading problem, that's conditioning. You're conditioning your brain. Now here's what you can do. I really encourage you, if this is you right now, and you're in this moment right now reading spicy books, but you want to stop, I really encourage you to take a 30-day break from spicy content. Just 30 days. And this might be a hard pill to swallow. If you're a Kindle Unlimited user, I might consider stopping your subscription just for that time period. Now, I am a big Kindle Unlimited user and there's tons of amazing clean books, Christian books on there, but I know for me, Kindle Unlimited is full of temptation. During your 30-day break from spicy content, I want you to put down Kindle Unlimited for now, okay? I want you to replace it intentionally with well-written, clean books, ones with strong plots so that you're not bored. And if you need help with that, I can create another podcast episodes of books that I think are a good transition for people who want that intense, romance and suspense maybe, or maybe kind of that darker romance, but keeping it clean and closed door, I can definitely create an episode for you. I want you to pay attention to how your mind feels during this 30-day break. Do you feel like you're craving these spicy romance books still? Does your attention span improve? Is it easier to stay focused? Most women notice a huge shift. Spicy books truly do distort your view of intimacy. They separate intimacy from the covenant and the holiness. And even when the characters end up together, the content is usually graphic, explicit, and centered on physical pleasure as entertainment. But biblical intimacy is sacred. It's private. It's protective. Hebrews 13:4 says marriage should be honored by all and that the marriage bed be kept pure. And when explicit scenes become entertainment, something sacred becomes casual. And that really does change your heart. Here's what this looks like practically. Ask yourself before starting a book, would I feel comfortable reading this scene out loud to my grandma or to your daughter? Or even more hitting, would you want to read that to Jesus? Yes, girl. I know it's hard, but if you can't say yes to those questions, then you shouldn't be reading that book. Check reviews specifically for content. Don't assume because it's labeled romance that it's safe. Goodreads is such a good resource for this. It is absolutely amazing. There are so many great reviewers out there. Go read those reviews and you're going to be able to see what is clean and what is not. Which leads me to my third point, which is using trusted recommendation spaces. Places like my Facebook group where women prioritize clean and Christian book readers. There are lots of people out there where you're going to be able to find book recommendations that fulfill your desire for rom-coms or fantasy romance but have no explicit content in it. This removes the guesswork for you and it helps protect your peace. We are called to renew our minds, not just avoid sin. Philippians 4:8 tells us to think about what is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, and admirable. Not whatever is trending, not whatever book pops up on Kindle Unlimited. And this isn't about legalism, it's about freedom. So many women tell me that they feel distracted. They struggle with finding time to read, but they can binge a spicy book in 2 days. Why? Because dopamine pulls harder than discipline. But when you start choosing clean books with strong plots, good pacing, and depth, something will change inside of you. I promise it will. You can start enjoying stories without guilt. You're going to start staying hooked on books for the right reason, and you're going to stop feeling that internal conflict. You have to clean up your TBR list. I know I talked about this in the last episode, but it's so important. Remove books that you know are not aligned. If they're not there, you're not going to be tempted to read them. Commit yourself to reading like a woman who belongs to Christ. And 3, surround yourself with other women who are doing the same thing. Community is so important. You don't have to do this alone. It's really hard. And I see all the time people posting in my Facebook group saying that they're making the switch. Like they are fully committed to not reading spicy books anymore. And it's so amazing when people post that because we can encourage each other and cheer you on and help you find books to read. And it's like just so amazing and so fun. Okay, let me say this clearly. This is not about shame. I am not trying to shame you. We are all on our own journey and we are all on our own timeline. If you've read spicy books, you're not worse than somebody else. You're not disqualified. You're not some terrible Christian. God loves you so much and he wants to take that shame away. He wants to renew your mind. And I really encourage you to seek him earnestly because he's going to bring books into your life that fill you with joy and honor him. I think reading fiction can draw us closer to God as long as we are careful on what we are choosing to read. Reading shapes our mind. It shapes your heart and it shapes your life. We don't read like the world reads because we're not who we used to be. We are renewed. And honestly, there's so many incredible clean books out there. You don't have to settle and you don't have to compromise and you definitely don't have to do this alone. Hey friend, if you loved today's episode, take 30 seconds to join our free Facebook community of over 30,000 women at fruitfulreader.com/group and connect with readers who just want to read more without worrying about what they'll run into. And if you haven't yet, leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It truly helps other readers find the show. Now go pick something off that TBR or add 3 more. I won't judge. I'll see you next week. Happy reading.